My name is Mafer Bencomo. I am the Social Impact Associate here at DataCamp, and I am super excited to be your host today for our DataCamp Classrooms teacher orientation. This is our autumn version as we are getting ready for our back to school season. We have amazing content for you today. First, we will go over what DataCamp Classrooms is, and then we'll pass it on to a guest presentation by Dr. Marin Jovanovic and Thomas Franzen, both who are DataCamp Classroom users, and they are both teachers at Copenhagen Business School. Then I'll go over some tips for your application and show you a bit of like how do you actually get DataCamp's classrooms, the form that you have to fill. We'll go over all of that. If we get a chance, we'll do a platform demo and talk a bit about the certifications that you can get. And at the end, we'll have a Q&A. But don't feel like you have to wait till the end to ask your questions. You can leave them right now in the chat, and we may answer them along the way. So with that said, what is DataCamp Classrooms? DataCamp Classrooms is one of DataCamp's corporate social responsibility programs, and it was designed to offer teachers and students from anywhere in the world to access DataCamp premium licenses for free for their entire academic careers. And I repeat, free for their entire academic careers. This is not a too good to be true offer. We're not trying to trick you. At no point we will ask you for credit card information. There's no hidden fees. The only thing that you have to do is, as a professor or teacher, you have to fill out an application form that we'll show you later in this webinar. And you'll have access for 6 months. You can invite your students, and at the end of 6 months, we ask you that you fill out the form again so that you can maintain continuous access, and so on. Like every 6 months, you reapply, and this is the way we can verify that you are maintaining active employment as a teacher. If that doesn't sound convincing, I can give you our all-time stats. Since 2016, teachers have made over 45,000 DataCamp classrooms in more than 14,000 schools across 190 countries. When we add this to our other corporate social responsibility program called DataCamp Donates, we can say that we have donated over 1 million scholarships to students, teachers, nonprofits, and disadvantaged individuals. And this all sounds nice, it's free and everything, but what do you actually get? How does this help you as a teacher to enhance your classes for all of your students? And I would say there are 3 main perks, right? There are 3 main advantages that you get when you use DataCamp Classrooms. First is that you will empower your students to learn everywhere, anytime, in whichever format they prefer. They can do it in their computers, in their phones, and that empowers them to be owners of their own learning process. You can also collaborate with your students or enable them to collaborate amongst themselves through our Data Lab product, which Maureen and Thomas are going to get into. And ultimately, by providing DataCamp to your students, you enhance their career readiness, because we have industry recognized certifications that would allow them to boost their resumes and prove themselves in an increasingly competitive job market. This is a bit of a summary of everything you will get through DataCamp Premium. We have more than 500 interactive courses, 60 plus practice sessions, more than 90 curated learning paths, more than 120 real life projects and case studies, 280 plus experienced instructors, 20 plus skill assessments, 11 certifications, and always ongoing competitions that will allow you to even gain or win cash prizes. Now, If you are still not convinced, let me show you the dollar value of what we're offering. A DataCamp Classroom is the equivalent to a team plan, which is $25 per user per month. To that, we add access to Data Lab, which is $9 per user per month. So all of that together would be $34 per user per month, which means that a 6 months DataCamp Classrooms of one teacher and 49 students is worth $10,200. Just saying, we're giving you a lot of value. And now, with that said, I would love to introduce you to Marin Jovanovic and Thomas Franzen. Dr. Marin Jovanovic is an associate professor at the Department of Operations Management at Copenhagen Business School and a visiting scholar at Lulea University of Technology. Thomas Franzen is an associate professor at Copenhagen Business School with a research interest in product, service, and data integration, as well as management and analytics. They both are avid users of DataCamp Classrooms, and they will be sharing some of their insights after using it. I will pass it on to you, Thomas.
Thank you. And I will start just saying a few words about ourselves and then about the program that we teach a course in business analytics on, a bit about the course itself, and then Marin will jump into much more detail in how we have been fortunate to use DataCamp throughout this semester. So as you said, Marin is associate professor, so am I. We are both at CBS. CBS is a research and teaching institution with about 20,000 students, and Marin is doing a lot of research on digital platforms and business-to-business context, also looking into AI and other areas. And I'm, as you said, looking into digital servitization, autonomous solutions, and the use of algorithms for management. Next slide, please, Marin. So the program that we're teaching on is called General Management Analytics. It's a new program, and we have about 300 students on this program, so it makes it the largest program at CBS. The key focus is to combine business economics with decision-driven analytics to enable informed decision-making. That's the key premise of the program. So we have a focus on general management and financial implications, which is basically about setting strategic direction, creating value, and interacting with stakeholders. And we have 3 main job profiles in mind: business analysts, general managers, and business consultants. And I suppose for all 3 of them, the use of DataCamp is something that they will encounter likely in industry as well. And particularly for business analysts, we find that the business analytics course, of course, is key. But for most of our students, this combination of management and analytics is what they have sought the program for, and therefore the business analytics is a key course in the course pack. Next slide, please. So on the program, if you can take that one, we have, it's a 2-year program, so it's split in 4 semesters. Our business analytic course is on the 2nd semester, that one. And it goes together with another analytics-oriented course, Market Informed Decisions. The first semester is basically general management courses, which gives a deep business insight and management understanding. And then 2nd semester develops an analytical progression to that. So that's the key focus and where the business analytic course plays a key role. Most of our students come from one of our bachelor programs, meaning that we know the entry competencies of the students, and they are pretty savvy in statistics, math, economics, and so on. But generally, they don't have any programming experience. And in this course, we want to leverage the vast amount of data that they will encounter in businesses to make informed decisions based on data. So doing that requires a skill set, a tool set, and that's what we set out to give them. So that means both modeling and programming skills in order to explore relationship, detect patterns, create models, and visualize data. So they're basically starting on a programming course, going from 0 to faster, short in a short period of time. The exam form on this course is a written sit-in exam on CBS computers, where they will have access to R, and they will need to perform certain programming tasks in order to explore a case context. So that is so they will need to develop those skill sets throughout the course, and that's also where DataCamp comes in very as an excellent resource for the students. Next slide, please. So just to say a bit about the backdrop of business and data and analytics. So we're very keen to focus the course on business context. So this is just one example that we're both familiar with from our own research in terms of telematics and the use of IoT devices to create value, which is a business concern for many businesses, including Volvo. Thinking in terms of value creating systems, trying to bring together a lot of data and leverage that for value creation. Increasingly leveraging it also for predictive maintenance, using real life data to create models, analytical models, algorithms, machine learning models to create value for the business on an ongoing basis. So this idea about integrating product, services, and data is really a key issue in the industry, and we try to link back to this kind of business context throughout the course, so that it's not only about the modeling and the programming, but it's the business context that is important. Next slide, please. So that brings us to the course. We follow a tidy process. Maren will say more about the course, but basically getting them introduced to business analytics, then jumping into data management, visualization, different techniques for handling data, giving them an update on the statistical foundation, so leveraging on the pre-knowledge, but also adding more advanced models, doing different types of regression analysis, time series analysis, forecasting, and data mining techniques, which are some of the key components statistically in this process that we also mirror in a business analytic project that they complete throughout the course. Right, next slide, Myron. Thanks, and then I'll pass it on to you, Myron.
Thank you, Thomas. So that was, let's say, the introduction and trying to set the scene for your understanding from where we are coming from, right? So this is a new course, a very up-to-date course that was co-developed with business consulting, some of the leading consulting companies, our stakeholders, and also industry partners, right? So now I will share some of the key lessons learned from the first generation of our students in general management and analytics program, specifically in business analytics course, right? So we opted for R, not Python, because we felt that this is technically an easier way to introduce students to coding, right? Why R? Once more, because it has kind of solid structure in terms of our studio, so students are more comfortable with using it. It kind of is more similar to the softwares that they used to be comfortable with, right? Like Excel. So our main goal was to enable students to be comfortable with R Studio and slowly discover R. So my first recommendation are, of course, DataCamp courses, right? So we all know about how good DataCamp courses are. I will highlight the introduction to the Tidyverse, like really high recommendation for this course. It really Thomas talked about the business context, right? So for us educators, it's really challenging to develop a lot of contextual cases to explore every method, every function. So DataCamp already created this, right? So if I or Thomas or you as an educator would need to do this from the scratch, you would basically try to develop a new DataCamp course, right? So that was something really good. So we demonstrated both base R and tidyverse syntax. I know there is a debate on the internet which one we should use. We introduced both, so students are mixing both syntax as they progress with their understanding. Another good feature is the review courses. So review courses, so once completing a DataCamp course, like Introduction to the Tidyverse, DataCamp will remind you, hey, practice a little bit the course that you already completed, right? So you can see in the bottom, this is how the GUI looks like when you complete the course. Well, DataCamp will remind you to just refresh the key methods, the key routines that you developed. And I think it's a gamification process. So the on a daily basis, you are competing with others. We will see this later, but also you're competing with yourself to collect points, right? It seems like very naive, but it actually works like in any other gamification, right? So another good feature of Introduction to the Tidyverse, it's more related to the Tidyverse package, right? Not necessarily to DataCamp, but the way DataCamp created Introduction to the Tidyverse course, it links nicely to ggplot, ggplot2 that we use for visualization. So students slowly start to discover that the syntax is similar, and they could build on top of the syntax they already learned. And of course, this is by design, but again, DataCamp allow you to explore other courses that are interlinked, right? So if you opt for using R, this is probably one of the best starter course. Another lesson learned is, of course, the Workspace, right? So what is Workspace for beginners? It is IDE, or integrated development environment. So it's like a notepad on steroids, I would say, right? It's a notepad where you could post links, where you could post images, where you could post text. So since we designed the course in a traditional way, where we have lectures which are more theory-based, and we have exercises that are more practice, hands-on oriented, Workspace allows you to, as you're creating the Workspace as an educator, you're making basically you're highlighting the most relevant content with the most relevant methods, with the most relevant codes, and it all stays there. It's all live. It all runs on the R environment. So it is very good that the students can see immediately that the code is working, right? So they can all join your Workspace, and you will see plenty of students in the top right corner where you see my image here. You would see like all your students that are currently on the Workspace, but they can also create a copy of that master Workspace that you probably created the day before when you were preparing for the session, and then they can edit and try on their own to tweak the code a little bit, or you could even give them some, let's say, exercises and leave the instructions with empty code so they could code themselves, right? So just to show the capabilities of Workspace, simple linear regression, but the IDE allows you to run and you can basically see the output live on the Workspace, as you would see in the RStudio environment, right? So you could see the output like this, or you could see even the ggplot graphs, like with this, in this specific case, with the wrap and size and the color on top features, right? Next, another lessons learned is the data sets, right? So we already showed you that we opted for Jagia book on business analytics, Communicating with Numbers, second edition. We also praise that book. We highly recommend that book. But in this specific context, we wanted to share the data sets connected with that book, right, to our students. In addition to other Excel or CSV data sets. So it is all possible and it is all very easy to integrate, right? You could just upload your Excel file, you could upload your CSV file, or you could make a connection to Google Sheets, what I did specifically for the Jagia book. So next, this is probably one of the best features that we, let's say, discovered during the first generation of business analytics students, is the AI feature. So the AI feature has multiple purposes, of course, but for me as an educator, automated code annotation is something very useful. And I will provide you a few perspectives why I think it's very useful. First, of course, it allows students it allows you to in a very time efficient manner, provide students with more contextuality around the code, right? The AI will develop this. The way AI is trained on the API of the R or Python or any other language. So for AI, it's very easy to develop a coding, to develop the commenting, the annotation of the code, right? So and that serves as an interactive learning experience. So they could really always comment the code. They could also edit the code, which feature we also as an educator didn't like maybe so much, but definitely code annotation is something that we like. Another good perspective of AI feature is that they start using AI to learn the coding, not to code, right? So that's the key message I have for all educators in the context of business analytics. So they will use AI in a very positive way. So they will use AI to learn coding, not to go to ChatGPT or any other large language models and just generate the code, but they will use AI to learn and understand the code better, right? And when we show them that they can do this later themselves, and they become more proficient in coding, right? So very good feature, not just to fix the code, but also to learn coding. Finally, we also had the business project, which went throughout the whole semester. So as we were teaching, delivering lectures and exercises, we created also groups. We had a very large cohort, around 300 students, so 60 groups, like 5 people per business project. So imagine about the logistics around it. So each and every group could find their own data set, or they could leverage some of the data sets already uploaded and verified by a DataCamp, right? So for instance, sleep, health, and lifestyle, or so data set about sleep disorders, or bike sharing demand data sets, right? So on the you can also select the data sets that are only for R or Python or any other. Also, you can see the category where this data set primarily belongs to, right? So these are the data sets, and then we will show you basically the outcome of the course. The outcome of the course was a business project. So a group of 5 was required to explore data set that they are comfortable with, that either external or DataCamp or any other data set. So to explore the data set with some exploratory statistics, to or let's say correlation matrix, ggplot, so to leverage what they learn during the course. Then the modeling was next stage in this business analytic process, right? So they could set the hypothesis and test the hypothesis with a simple regression, linear regression, maybe nonlinear regression, multiple nonlinear regression, or some advanced teams went all the way and leveraged the CARD library and developed some advanced classification models with, let's say, like KNN or decision trees or naive Bayes, for instance. So you could see some of the projects that our students developed, and think about, again, they did not code ever before, 90% of them. So this is quite impressive in a very short period of time to go from zero or near zero to this deliverables. And DataCamp definitely played a huge role in this. So not only from the pedagogical perspective, we as educators, we also want to share with you what we did. So not only did they develop the project, we created almost like a small conference, right? So students were standing next to their posters, and we invited some industry expert from Denmark, from leading companies. You can see on the right. And they provided feedback on top, right? So we, as a professors, provided feedbacks with all our teaching assistants and student assistants, but also a senior business analyst from the industry also provided feedback to them. And basically, we made a round table. So few industry experts and professors were going around, industry experts and professors were going around and providing feedback to all teams. And then we changed a new round of projects, right? Industry representatives were really impressed with the performance, and it was quite nice. Nice learning experience. Students also appreciated that, they also started giving feedback to others, not only receiving criticism. So they also reached that level of let's say, maturity to share what is working, what is good, what is not good with other students. So finally, the classroom analytics and leaderboard. I mentioned the gamification with the daily presence on the DataCamp, so that the DataCamp is pushing you to collect points all the time. So leaderboard was something that created, let's say, a healthy competition within the class. We also rewarded the best performing students with some small presents, but it was also coding. Coding was not really. We had a huge class, so they had different preferences. Some students really want to excel at coding, others maybe not so much. But overall, the DataCamp gamification and the leaderboard served a really good role to push them further, right? And also you have other type of analytics as a professor, so you can see how much they are engaged with the DataCamp. So you can see total time on the platform, so 9,375 is quite a high number. So that's it. Thomas, over to you.
Thank you. Just briefly at the end here, the thing about learning, of course, is that as educators, we can provide a lot of content and some frames for learning, but much of it happens on your own as well, and you have to create your own lifelong learning. So this is for our program. We have the ambition to enable our students to become reflexive analytical managers. That means for us that they need to be able to both understand and evaluate algorithms. So they need the data science knowledge sufficiently well to be able to do that. But they also need business management and value creation. So these two go hand in hand for us. It means that they are commercially creative. They can create a new business model. They are technically competent also within programming and modeling. They need to be economically proficient, and then they need to be relational decision makers. Importantly, within the core of this kind of lifelong learning rope that they are tying, we want them to develop reflexivity, curiosity, be responsible and engaged, and then have this analytical mindset and ethical awareness. These are some of the core values that are built into the program and are also reflecting the Nordic 9 of CBS. In terms of DataCamp, we are now leaving the business analytic course, but they're venturing on to electives and a master thesis that goes in different directions. As Marion also indicated, they have different diverse interests. For the master thesis, two things that are particularly important to me is data stewardship, and from a DataCamp point of view, that would be data management concepts, courses like that, taking you into how you can collect your own data and work with that in a professional and ethical manner. So I would foresee that they will continue to use DataCamp also on their individual projects that will take them into different directions thematically. So that's all for us, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much to you both, Marine and Thomas. And I know we have a lot of questions that have come in the chat, and I would like to pass it on to Nathaniel Taylor-Leach. I know he can answer best some of these questions.
Yes, I most certainly can. I can answer these first two. We'll get to these questions that have that we've already gotten. Our first question is from Dave Riegert. In a DataCamp classroom, are we able to export any type of analytics, or are those reserved for enterprise subscribers? I'd be interested in completion rates, for example. This is a great question. So you are correct. Data export and advanced reporting are both enterprise features. We offer DataCamp Enterprise, however, at discounted prices for qualified institutions through our DataCamp for Universities plan. So if you think that DataCamp is something that many more teachers and many more students, or even regular employees of your university, such as admissions department, the bursar, the registrar, universities plan would benefit you of oversight. There is a lot of stuff that you can still view on your own if by just going to the reporting page on a group. So for example, I can show you that right now. All right, so here we have just a test group. And you'll be able to see, you'll know unit completions in the last 30 days. You'll see at a glance total time on platform, members who have earned XP last month. And in a little bit, Moffer is going to go over a lot of these features in more detail. But we appreciate you asking the question early on, so we want to make sure we get that answered. And once you go over into the reporting section, you'll be able to see progress, and you'll know how many courses a learner has completed. Moffer has joined us, and she's been absolutely crushing it lately. Wow, 14 courses, 48 chapters, amazing. So you see the courses completed, chapters completed, last XP. This is the last time they logged on and gained some XP, as well as their total XP. You can also filter this by when they joined the group or when they first joined and started using DataCamp. You can filter it by time as well. Not just that though, if you want to specific completion rates on a type of piece of content, you can give it as an assignment. Okay, so once you assign, for example, a course, a project, or even a certification, and give it, you can select your course and give it a due date, then you will know exactly the completion rates for that assignment. Okay, so an easy screenshot, you'll be able to export that information all to you. You'll be able to know who's completed the project, when they completed the project, if it was on time, if it was late, or if it was missed completely. So that's my biggest advice to teachers utilizing DataCamp Classrooms. If you want to know, unfortunately, I don't have any past due or already available assignments to show you here, but you will see that in a little bit. If you have some specific content that you know teachers need, that you want completion stats on, give it as an assignment. All right. And we have another question here from Wally. A really good question, and we really appreciate the just going for it. Can you add me to these courses? I want to be a data scientist, but I have no resources to upskill myself. Well, we hear you, and if it's an actually really important point to actually talk about, okay, who teachers can and cannot invite into their classrooms. So teachers can only invite their own students into their classrooms. So students must be enrolled in the same institution as the professor. Okay. Wally, we encourage you to, if you are indeed studying at university, we encourage you to get your professors to apply for DataCamp Classrooms and invite you into their group so we can kind of spread the access, spread the love. And Moffer is going to talk exactly how to do that and best tips for applying for a DataCamp Classroom. However, if you're not currently enrolled in a degree-giving institution, we encourage you to apply for a free scholarship through one of our DataCamp Donates partner organizations. DataCamp Donates exists exactly for this reason, for people who don't have the resources, who can't go back to university. Okay, so we encourage you to go to our website, datacamp.com/donates, to learn more about the program. Maybe you're already volunteering for a nonprofit organization, community-based organization. You yourself could become a DataCamp Donates partner and get access to these free scholarships, which are the exact same level of access as DataCamp Classrooms. However, if you're just an individual and you want to know if there's a DataCamp Donates partner organization in your area of the world, or that is trying to help out someone with your profile, please submit a ticket to our support team, just letting them know as much information as possible, who you are, where you're from, why you can't afford a DataCamp subscription, and they will put you in touch with a DataCamp Donates partner organization that can help you out. Okay. All right, I'm going to toss it back to Moffer. I think you can take these you along with Maren and Thomas can take these next few questions. Here we go. From Monica. When we create a workspace, can we share view only? Can they make copies to try the class presentation on their own? I think this is a great opportunity for a live demo of your own of Data Lab and how you can copy workbooks.
So I may take this one, right? So excellent question. Specifically for the business projects, right? Students wanted to limit the visibility of the workbook only to their group members, right? And of course they can do that, right? So you can see my exercise 1, data management and data visualization. So that was the first exercise right after the first lecture and introduction to R. And so we just explore some descriptive statistics, as you can see here, some graphs, but then we, towards the end of the 3-hour session, we managed to draw some ggplot graphs. Like the sharing feature is, so basically there are two components. The first component is they can make a copy of the master workspace, right? They will just make a carbon copy of your entire workspace, right? Professor workspace, and then they can only see these workspace. And then, of course, they can make the workspace private. So now it's visible only to you, plus to the people within your group, right? And then this is an excellent opportunity to work on your business project. And this is exactly what our students were doing, right? So they can have a private only for their eyes or private to the group member worksheet, right? Excellent question.
Maybe just to add to that, also there is the feature to share the link. You didn't mention that, Maren, but instead of students working directly in the version that you are working in, you can share the link instead, and then it will open up as a copy of the version, which at least that was an experience on our end that facilitates it. When you have a lot of students in the room that are all accessing it, it's nice that they're accessing a copy of it and not the version that you're working in, because it creates some confusion. You can see students scrolling around and so on.
Great. All right, and we have one last question to get to, and then we can continue on with our presentation from a different Monica, actually. This one's for our professors. Could they share the requirements you sent students for this project?
Yeah, so if I were to just put a few words on the requirements, it was actually quite open. So we gave them a blank canvas. We created a template for a PowerPoint poster, and then basically gave some outline to the kind of information that we wanted into it. So a bit about the data that you're using, how did you wrangle the data, how did you explore it, a few visualizations to kind of give an insight into the data, then a little bit of modeling, could be, as Maren said, more advanced modeling, machine learning, classification models, or it could just be a few regressions, or depending on the data and the students, and then some business insight. And importantly, our message to the students was that this is something that you will do also in practice. You need to communicate your analytics, not only to other analysts or data scientists, but also to management that would be more interested in the business insights maybe than in the data itself, and to give them some flexibility. But we had a template that they could use. We'll maybe update that slightly next year, but basically it worked quite nicely, and they were able to make, as you could see, different colorings and so on. Some figured out to use the templates in ggplot or in using the tidyverse packages and mirror that into the coloring. So there were some that were really elegant and some were more coarse, but overall very nice. We had about 65 of these projects.
So we basically created a template. So you're looking at the template right now. The overall logic was to follow this tidyverse process, right? From importing, tidying the data, transforming, visualizing, and then modeling. For the modeling, some students made like the basic regression models was, let's say, the bare minimum, but then for others that was too easy and they went to the advanced classification, supervised machine learning models, etc. Right? So, but the template, I would encourage students, professors to use the template because it helps them to envision. If you can envision something, then you feel more comfortable doing it, right? So we provided them with the template so they can see more or less how this is supposed to look like, and then they were doing one by one component of that big task.
Great.
All right. Well, thank you so much. These were awesome questions. I will resume my presentation because we're a bit short on time. And yeah, I would love to show you a bit of some of the tips and tricks to apply for DataCamp Classrooms. And of course, the first thing is talking about who's eligible, and this relates a bit to Wally's question. The people who can fill the application form are college or university professors at degree-given institutions worldwide, or high school and secondary school teachers in Australia, Belgium, Canada, the Czech Republic, France, Poland, Turkey, the UK, and the United States of America. If you're a high school, secondary school teacher and your country is not listed here, know that we're working towards increasing the list. And if you're a student listening to this, like Wally, this doesn't mean that you don't get access to DataCamp Classrooms. It just means that you have to convince a professor to apply. And then the professor has a responsibility to invite you to the DataCamp Classrooms. And so how do you do it, right? Like, the way to do it is you go to datacamp.com. You will have to click on the DataCamp for Universities tab, then click on the button that says create a free DataCamp Classroom, and that will take you to this form. It's a very short form. It shouldn't take you more than 5 minutes to fill it. And basically, we ask you for some basic information, like your school email address. It's preferable that you fill the form while logging in with that email address on DataCamp. Then you have to write the school name. I highly encourage you to write the entire name of the school and not just an abbreviation, the country where the school is based, and probably the most important field is going to be this one, where we ask you to share a link to your personal faculty page or staff directory. What we will be looking into that faculty page is that it has your name. We want to verify that there is a faculty email address there and that faculty email address matches the one that you're writing on this form. And we want to verify your job title. We want to see that you are listed as somebody who is actively teaching at that institution, whether that job title is a professor, assistant professor, teacher, teaching assistant, we don't mind, but it has to be explicit that you are teaching at that school. This is a good example of a faculty page that we would be reviewing. It's hosted on the official website of the school. It has the name of the person. The person is listed as an assistant professor in this case, and it has contact info, like an email contact information that is listed explicitly. We understand that sometimes schools don't want to list the contacts out. Maybe there's a link to it. All of those things are fine as long as we're able to find it somehow in the faculty page. And we understand that some schools also just don't like to list that contact information at all. In that case, like this one with Martin Alfonso Lopez from Universidad de las Américas Puebla, he has this faculty page that doesn't have the email contact. And so we do have this system in place where we request more information. So what would happen is after your application, you'll receive an email and we'll list some materials that you can provide as supporting documentation so that we can verify your employment status. Some of this supporting material can be a letter of employment or an email from the department head at your institution verifying that you are teaching a class there. And so the rest of the form is pretty straightforward. The class name is basically, the class name of the class you teach. And that will be the name of your DataCamp Classroom. So later, after it's approved, you can adjust the name. Then your role, pick the one that is closest to your job title. We offer you 3 options in the dropdown: professor, instructor, high school teacher. With the request start date, this is important. We encourage you to pick today, and I don't mean today as in today, but like the day you're applying, you pick that date as a starting date. That will make things easier for you, because if you pick a start date for, let's say, a month from now, you will get the approval probably earlier than that, but then you won't be able to actually see the content in the platform because you'll have to wait till the start date of your group. And, if that works for you, that's fine, but most of the times that causes problems, etc. So we encourage you to just put it on the start date of the day you're applying. Then you write down the number of students that you will be inviting, and then, of course, whether you are a returning teacher or no, that also helps us. Just 1 second. And who can you invite into your DataCamp Classrooms? Your students at your schools who are part of the classes you teach. All students at least 16 years of at least 16 years of age or 13 years of age in the US with parental consent. And I believe that we could get to showing 1 short video demo of the platform that can show you how to onboard your students after your DataCamp Classroom has been approved. I think that will clarify a bit of some of the questions that you may have. Yeah, we're ready.
Hi, I'm Elena from DataCamp. Welcome to the first episode of our Admin University series, where we explore best practices to help you launch a successful learning program with DataCamp. As an admin, your goal for the first 1 or 2 weeks is to get all the learners set up on DataCamp. This is what we'll focus on today. Let's go to the Group Hub, the main admin interface as part of your DataCamp Teams account, and look at the adoption chart. Here you can see a quick license usage overview that will help you track onboarding progress. The goal for every admin is to make this a full blue circle, meaning all licenses are allocated to learners and everyone has accepted your invitation to DataCamp and started engaging with content on the platform. Before inviting users to the platform, we recommend creating teams first. Teams help you organize the learning for each user group through team assignments and increase learning engagement for large programs. Creating teams also helps you easier compare engagement among different learner groups down the road. Let's explore 2 possible ways to invite learners to the team. You can do so by opening a team from the Teams tab or by navigating to the Members panel and choosing a team from the drop-down at the top. In the upper right corner, you can see options to invite via email or via an invite link. For programs that require fine-grained access to a group of users, you can choose the Invite via email option. You can pass the complete list of emails to the text field, select teams to add members to, and then choose to assign admin permissions. There are 3 levels of admin access with DataCamp Teams. If you want to invite users at scale, we recommend creating a secure invite link. In the link creation dialog, you can specify allowed domains to join and choose teams to invite people to. A user can be part of multiple teams. For example, they can be included in the marketing team and business analytics team. Once you create an invite link, you can share it with your learners however you prefer. You can also revoke link access in the Invite Links tab of the Members panel. After inviting users to the platform, we recommend assigning a dedicated team manager for each team for easy reporting access, highlighting the success of learning champions within each team, and supporting members lagging behind the program goals. As part of your DataCamp Teams subscription, you can have unlimited admins, managers, and team managers. By giving them basic access to DataCamp, your admins won't take up a license. But if you want them to also learn on the platform, make sure to allocate a license to them. Once you invite the learners to join DataCamp, return to the dashboard page. You can also check who hasn't yet accepted the invite link and contact them directly. To recap, we have walked through inviting learners to a DataCamp group, tracking onboarding progress, and accelerating adoption by creating teams. Prioritize these actions for the first 1 or 2 weeks to lay a solid foundation for a quick start of your data upskilling program.
Hey, Maffer, I think you're on mute. If you could just unmute yourself, that would be great.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All good.
That's funny. But yeah, as I said, the video shows, I think it's once you open your DataCamp Classrooms dashboard, it will be very self-explanatory, and it shows all the analytics to help you track the progress of everyone involved in the DataCamp Classroom. And so, to the point of tracking progress, I would like to also show you another video that will help you keep your learners engaged, because what happens with, people get busy, maybe they open the invite, but then maybe they actually never do any course. So this video from Elena will show you a bit of how to engage them by assigning them things.
Hi, I'm Elena from DataCamp. Welcome to the 2nd episode of the Admin University series, where we explore best practices to help you launch a successful learning program with DataCamp. In the previous video, we covered how to ensure fast learner onboarding. Today, we'll focus on your next goal, boosting learner engagement on DataCamp. Over and over again, we see that the most common ingredients for successful learning programs with high engagement are personalization and structure, where every individual's learning path directly aligns with how better data skills can be applied in their day-to-day roles. Luckily, DataCamp helps you personalize and structure learning programs for your organization at scale through tracks, and assignments. First, let's cover tracks and how you can benefit from them. DataCamp tracks are curated learning paths that we prepared with the help of 270 plus instructors and curriculum experts. There are 3 types of tracks available on DataCamp: skill tracks, career tracks, and custom tracks. To see the full learning catalog, navigate to the Learn Hub. Let's start with skill tracks. Skill tracks are most helpful when you need to fill in certain data skill gaps, whether it's Power BI, deep learning in Python, or data skills for business. We've got you covered. To identify if you have a certain skill gap in your team, you can ask your learners to complete related assessments. You can find assessments for certain Python, SQL, R, and theory skills inside the Assessments tab. Once learners complete assessments, they will get personalized recommendations on the skills they need to master and will be able to shape their learning program. Assessment insights for admins are available as part of the Enterprise plan, so make sure to contact us if you want to unlock this feature and see your organization's skill balance sheet. Career tracks are the second type of tracks on DataCamp. They are most helpful when learners want to make a career transition or get a promotion to another role. Career tracks comprise several skills required for a certain role and usually take from 30 to 100 hours to complete. Let's see what is inside the Data Scientist with Python career track. This track features 23 courses, 6 projects, 3 skill assessments, and takes about 90 hours to complete. After completing this track, learners will gain hands-on experience in data manipulation, data visualization, statistics, and machine learning in Python. Custom tracks or organization tracks are the third type of tracks and are only available for enterprise customers. We'll cover custom tracks in the last video of the Admin University series. To help you craft learning paths, we've also prepared a curriculum cheat sheet detailing key learning personas and recommended learning pathways. The link to the cheat sheet will be in the video description. The best way to encourage your learners to complete a track is through assignments. Assignments are awesome in helping your learners focus on their learning goals. The idea is simple. You assign a group of learners to complete some learning by a certain deadline. This assignment then highlights the importance of a certain course, project, assessment, or track and helps set urgency behind learning goals. To create an assignment, choose the team you want to create it for, go to the Assignments tab and click Create Assignment. Here you can see that you can assign content at different levels of granularity, from a single chapter of a course up to a whole track. The Earn XP assignment just asks each learner to collect a given amount of experience points before the deadline. This can be a great tool over the first week after onboarding to get learners to explore the platform. Creating an assignment is really easy. You choose a content title and then name autocompletes. And then you just have to decide whether the whole team or only certain individuals are getting an assignment, and the date they need to complete it by. Choosing a reasonable date is essential. To estimate the date, look at how much a course, an assessment, or track takes and divide it by the number of hours you estimate your learners to spend on DataCamp per week. After creating an assignment, learners will see it highlighted in their main dashboard and will be more likely to complete it. In the Assignments tab on the Group Hub, you can track the assignment's progress, check who has completed it, and reach out to users who are lagging behind. DataCamp tracks and assignments are key techniques to boost learners' engagement on DataCamp. They provide focus, personalization, and structure, which are very important for busy professionals.
All right. Well, I know those videos are generally helpful and it's sometimes hard to remember them. So they are all listed on the resources that you get as part of being registered to this webinar. They're all on YouTube, and there's more than these two that we're showing. So we, aside from giving you the platform, we give you a bunch of supporting documentation so that you can use it. And because we're short on time, we are close to wrapping up, but I don't want to leave without answering a follow-up question from Monica. So the question is, thanks, Maureen, does this integrate into your LMS? We use Blackboard.
So we use Canvas and just short, so it's not integrated into that. We use Canvas for just like we do regularly in other courses for the communication and so on. But we also shared the links there for the DataCamp, but it's not integrated.
So this is also a comment from Dave, who was replying to Monica. I don't have an answer. Blackboard with LMS integration is part of the enterprise subscription. Yeah. So basically, because Classrooms is the free part, it doesn't have these type of integrations. But if your school gets academic plan, then yeah, that might be the case. We have another follow-up. Yeah.
Yeah, Nathaniel here. I think we have time for one last question.
All right. So Monica says, are custom tracks locked for Classrooms? Also, how do I access the workspace from my Classroom? Please feel free to send something I can read.
So I can take this one. Basically, you have a top navigation bar in your DataCamp landing page. So when you land to the DataCamp, you will see your profile and you will see the status of your ongoing courses, and you will see groups and Data Lab, right? Data Lab will send you to different workspaces that you have, and groups will basically unlock all the features that we just seen, like members, managing your students, also assignments, leaderboard, reporting, etc. Right? So there is a management of the group under groups, and there is a data lab as extension to it, where all the workspaces are. I hope this helps.
All right. Well, everyone, it was a pleasure to host this webinar for you all. Thank you so much, Thomas. Thank you so much, Maureen. And the good thing is all of this will be recorded. If you were registered for the webinar, you can still sign up to be registered. And I highly encourage you to put your application, fill out your application today, this week, because back to school season is here and we get extremely busy. So if you wanted to, if you want to have access to what you just saw, like this week right now, then the way to do it is if you apply the earlier the better. All right, and then I guess we can say goodbye.